No,
No.
my friend.
One who was like talking about something, and when I said that, and she goes, "What?" She was trying to explain to her, she was there, and then Karen's like,
Such controversy. I'm such a controversial guy.
and Moshe was there, and he goes, Karen. Her face went gray. She went right to Rabbi Bookit at the end and made him explain it to her. It was hysterical.
Baruch Hashem. Baruch Hashem. Good morning, everybody. As we start we're going to learn some Chassidus today in the morning. And I wanted to, did you guys know about this? This retreat?
Oh.
Know about this? Goes on, you guys, hopefully you're gonna book for the National Jewish Retreat, August 9th to the 14th in Florida.
In Florida.
In Florida, if you want to have 6 days of learning,
Oh, wow.
6 days of learning in the Doral, Trump Doral. Trump Doral and in Miami Beach. If you want to come and learn a week, this is an opportunity
Oh,
that the Jewish Learning Institute is giving everybody an opportunity to come and study for a week, 5 days of learning. It's an opportunity of a lifetime. So go look it up, Jewish National Retreat, and book it.
Book it.
Okay?
Book it with book it.
Okay. You'll have some controversy. No, this is a great thing. Jewish National Retreat. This is a Chabad. The JLI, Jewish, you see it over there. National, I'm not Jewish. National Jewish Retreat. National Jewish Retreat. You can go on the internet. You can register at jrjretreat.com. Look it up. I'm serious. It's an opportunity of a lifetime. You're going to have the 5 days of studying and learning with the best teachers, food galore, the best food you can eat. Beautiful place. So it's both Gashmis and Ruchnis, both physical and spiritual. You can have together.
I looked this up.
Okay, so let's learn some Kabbalah. Now that we made our what do they call it? Identification. Commercial. Thank you. We like to thank the sponsor, JLI. Okay. So we were introduced to a beautiful concept in Chassidus last week. We started chapter 2, which is the concept of the Kabbalistic concept of the two-soul process that the God gives every single human being 2 souls. He's not only made up of his physical, which has a soul. Every physical thing has a soul in the world. A rock also has a soul, which means it's life force. Everything has a soul. So too a human being, his physical side of him is his soul. He has a soul. But a human being has a second soul. The Arizal says, the Zohar says, a human being has a second soul. And that's an important thing to him, that this second soul, because this second soul is a chelek eleka mimal mamish, is a part of God mamish. Mamish means that is the reality. That's like his body is a reality. His second soul is a reality. And therefore we have these expressions in the Torah that the Zohar says, my firstborn son is Israel, you are the children of the Lord. Because why would the Torah express itself in such a kind of a way? Because the Torah in essence is telling us that, giving us an analogy, just like a child is born from the brain of his father, right? And through the development of his mother, so too a human being has within him these 2 aspects, something that is created like anything, like a rock that was created from the speech of God. And then you have the second soul, which comes from the thought of God. from the chachma, from the wisdom of HaKadosh Baruch Hu, from the wisdom of God, so to say. Today, this is a famous word, right? The second column to the English speakers, it's like a 10-letter word, anti-morphism, whatever. That word, you can read that word.
Spell it.
I can't, it's too many letters. Anthropomorphism, right? The muscle, right? The analogy. All of each is derived from his thought and wisdom. Blessed be he, for he is wise, but not through knowledgeable wisdom, because he and his wisdom are one. And this is an important statement of the Maimonides, that to understand God is through understanding God's attributes, the attributes of God, which is Chachma, Bina, Das, wisdom, understanding, and knowledge. As it says, V'kulam b'chachma sisa, God says, I have created everything through knowledge, through Chachma. What do you mean? God created everything through himself. But that's why we say that the Chachma of God is not like the wisdom of our wisdom. So skip the note that skip the note, come to the note in a minute. He is the knowledge and the knower. Rambam, when he wants to explain God in the beginning of his book, Yesodis, he starts off his whole book with the foundation of the full foundation. And the pillar of knowledge is to know that there is a mamtzi echad, there is a source, a first source of everything. Humans have to know that there is a source to their beginning, and their source is the Kadosh Baruch Hu. He's the primary source of everything. And he explains it, and the way he explains it is that the Eibishter created the world. The verse says, "Kulam b'chachma sisa." The Eibishter created the world with wisdom. But so you might think that there is a concept of wisdom, and there's God, like by us. There's a concept of the knower. He's the knower and the knowledge. So you might think there's two different concepts. There's the knower and the knowledge. There is God and his wisdom. But that's when God says, you cannot, I am my wisdom, and my wisdom is me. That's why, for example, the Torah is nitzchis. Why is the Torah nitzchis? Torah is a written book.
What's
the everlasting. Why is the Torah everlasting? Why is the Torah unlimited? Why is the Torah, why is the Torah a concept of wisdom? Because it's God. And the Torah and God are one. You cannot separate the Torah from HaKadosh Baruch Hu. You cannot separate the Torah from God. If you separate the Torah from God, then basically you have destroyed Yiddishkeit. People have tried to do that, to separate God from the Torah. But as a Jew, we believe, no, the Torah and God are one. Why? Because the Torah is Chachma. Because Torah is wisdom. And by God and wisdom is one. You cannot separate God from his wisdom. Not by us. We separate the knowledge from the knower. There's me and what I know. And some things, even things that I know, is not me. Right? I can be a doctor. I can be even a rabbi. And there's me. Vacation, we come ourselves officially, right? Once a Jew wrote to the Rebbe, he said, I only come to shul on Yom Kippur, and I'm feeling like a hypocrite. Like, why do I only come to shul on Yom Kippur? I'm feeling hypocritical. So the Rebbe answered him, he says the opposite. That's the only day you're real. You're hypocritical the other 360. You're hypocritical the other 364 days of the year. That's when you're real. That's when you're real. When you come on Yom Kippur, you're real. That's where a Jew belongs. In Shul Yom Kippur. The other 164 days, that's where you're playing around. You're being hypocritical. Being a Jew, being connected to God is real. That's the real stuff. If you're not connected to God, that's where you don't belong. You have to flip the whole thing. So that's where else we feel the opposite. The world is real, and God is some kind of a philosophy. The truth is, the world is not real, and God is real. Therefore, what's real is the Eibishter. What's real is being who you are, being who you truly are. So that's why? Because that's connected to the wisdom of God. And that is real. That is truly real. You have to come to that conclusion. The Maimonides says you have to come to that conclusion. A person has to come to the conclusion that what is real? Something that needs nothing. Right? A primary source is real. If you need something, then you're not real. You need that other thing. So your body needs your soul. So what's real? What's your body? The soul, because your soul doesn't need your body needs your soul. So if your body needs your soul, so what's real? The soul is the real thing. But what do we make the real thing? We make the body real and the soul is secondary. But that's hypocritical. When we all know that our body is real, because it doesn't need our soul is real, because it doesn't need our body, and our body needs our soul. Both our body and our soul need God. So what's real? Not the body, not the soul. God is real. Without God, you don't have a body or a soul. So that's the primary. So that's the real. The Eibush that created the body, we don't realize the power of the body. And that's why this is called the Sefer Shabbatim, is to be able to talk to the body. Because the body, even though we say it's not real, and we all philosophize about it from today to tomorrow, but the body is real. To us, the body is really real. And as much as I say, you can talk to a person today to tomorrow, you can talk to yourself that it's not real. It is real. It's hard to get away from the realness of the body. It's hard to get away from the realness of the body. So how does one overcome the realness of the body? Is by explaining the body. We got to be able to talk to the body. We got to explain the body that what its true realness is. And how do we, and that's the way, that's the knowledge. That's why the Rambam Maimonides, emphasized the concept. He was a realist, Maimonides, he was a theorist. So Maimonides, tries to explain everything through the lens of understanding, And he says, ultimately, this concept that the Eibush is the knower and the knowledge is something, and the knower and the knowledge is something that's hard for us to comprehend, a human being to comprehend this concept. Because by us, everything has separate entities. There's the knowledge and the knower. How do you put the two together? How is that possible to be one entity as one?
So when a body feels physical pain, is the neshama feeling the pain, or is the body feeling
Shutha, even if you go to a doctor, it says when the body feels pain, it's only because the brain is feeling pain. The body feels no pain.
The brain is from Chokhmah?
Yeah, the brain is your wisdom. So even in your body has no pain. There's no such thing as pain in the body. It's your brain that's feeling the pain. And the body is an entity, is a dead entity. It's a dead entity. You hurt your finger, it's not your fingers that's hurting. It's your brain is telling you the finger's hurting.
So why do they amputate?
That's because of the sickness, disease. It's not because of the pain. We don't amputate somebody who has pain. We amputate somebody when there's a diseased body. We need to amputate
gangrene or something like that.
So that somebody when the body is sick, not the pain. Pain is the brain. The brain feels the pain, and that's why sometimes you can have actually pain in one part of the body, but if there's pain in the other part of the body that's stronger, then you only feel the pain in the second part of the body. And you're not going to feel the pain in the other parts of the body. Why? Because the body, your brain is concentrated on one pain. It can't concentrate on two pains. So it concentrates on one pain. And therefore, you will feel the pain in that part of the body, even though there's a pain in the other part of the body. The second part of the body is hurting. Because your pain is in your brain. That is where your pain is. That's in your seichel, in your intellect. So therefore, the Ram says he is the knowledge and the knower, and this is not within the power of any man to comprehend clearly. To comprehend that concept, how the Eibishter, the Chochmah of God is God. That's something that we all struggle with, and that's why we struggle with the Torah. We struggle with the Torah because we also try to separate God from the Torah. To separate these two entities. Why we don't want to? This is knowledge. Knowledge. We say, right? Some people will say, the Torah was written by some rabbi. It was written by some rabbi. What do you expect? Mistakes. It's not going to be mistakes. It's a human knowledge. Human knowledge is apt to mistakes. But if you believe that the Torah is God's knowledge, so it's not apt to a mistake. It's impossible mistake. Yeah. Impossible mistake. But we don't, we struggle with that. We struggle with that. It's written, can you find God by searching? If you're going to search to God, will you find him? Are you going to find God? No, it's impossible to find God. It's impossible to find God. God is unlimited. We are finite entities. It's impossible, a finite entity, to touch the infinite. It's just impossible. It's just impossible. It's impossible, any kind of a concept for us in the human world to connect two things to become one. It's impossible. It's impossible. Not possible. There's not a capability. There's no possibility for us, even unity, to unite two things as one. The highest level of unity, that's what the Rambam writes, the Alter Rebbe writes later, the highest level of unity is intellect. To connect the intellect of a human being with the intellect of God, or even our two intellects to come united together, that we both intellectually have that's really the highest level of unity. But that again is unity in a more of a spiritual concept. So that me and you can understand something, and we both can have the same knowledge, which is amazing. And that's really where we should try to acquire unity even between each other, is through our brains, our intellect, not to have an emotional argument, but have an intellectual argument, because then we ultimately come together as one, even if we disagree with each other, right? We can, even if we disagree with each other, we can have a common goal, right? We can take our disagreements through our intellectual, our minds, and say, oh, we're different, we disagree, but let's have a common goal. Let's do things together. Let's use our strengths and put away our weaknesses. We can come to some kind of a unity, but it's all very nice in the spiritual concept. It's impossible to become as one, right? The Torah says the unity we call the physical intimacy. The Torah says, you shall come together and become one flesh. But it's not one flesh, self-understood. It's two different people who come together, come together physically, can become one body. So they say, what's the meaning of the Torah? You shall become one basar echad, you become one flesh. There's a child. You have a child. Through that creation, so that's the way we become one entity. But really, that entity that we created has its own entity. It's not you. It's somebody else. And it might have different thoughts, and it might have different agendas and different opinions, etc. So where do we have unity? So the Rambam writes, there's no unity but in God. There's no true unity. This is all an imaginary unity.
So there's a chachma handle the emotions in the body.
Oh, that's the whole point. So therefore, you're right. So therefore, That's the way it should be. Maya Shal Dalev. It should be mind over matter. It always should be, because the highest level of unity you're going to find in creation is your chachma, is your wisdom. The more you have wisdom, the more you'll have some aspect in your life. The more you have, the more you're emotional, you're going to have less unity in life.
No,
Because emotions are totally opposites.
no,
We are not going to, unless you unite it through intellect.
no.
So if you're not going to unite it through intellect, you're not going to have unity in this world. So that's why it says, the Alter Rebbe says later, you cannot have Avas Yisrael if you don't understand what a Jew is. You cannot have it. You cannot have it. Impossible. Even Lamaila, even above, Chachma can bring peace between Chesed and Gevurah. If you don't have Chachma, there will never be peace between kindness and severity. It's not possible. They're two opposites and they cannot come together. Impossible to come together. The only way is through Chachma, through wisdom. Truth is, that's the way it is in our being also. Through Chachma, through wisdom, you make everything. That's like God created everything through wisdom. That's an expression. Everything is created through wisdom. So too, everything in our life should be created through Chachma, through wisdom. Make sure to think before you talk. Make sure to think before you act. Always think about it. Always think first. Always think first. Never shoot from the hip, as they say. Don't always think about it. What is it? What is the gain? What is the loss? What is the purpose? Why do you need to say what you're going to say? So, to understand, going back to God, for my thought is not your thought. My thought is not your thought. And you might say, wow, that sounds like a, truth is, my thought is not your thought either. No two people think the same. I cannot tell you how to think.
Pain comes from your head. Can't you tell your head?
I didn't say pain from, I didn't say
Comes from
pain.
the brain.
Your brain.
But can't
Pain
you
is
tell
felt in
your,
the brain.
can't you just
Yes,
tell
you
your
can.
brain?
Sure, you
Not,
could.
it,
You could.
and how do you make it not exist?
Could. We're very weak-brained. We don't have control over it.
But I want to be able to tell my brain,
You want to, baby.
I want to be able to tell my brain that wrong, the pain doesn't exist because it does not. And it doesn't exist. How do I tell my brain that the pain doesn't exist because it doesn't show?
It has nothing to do with showing or not, but it has nothing to do with showing or not. The pain, again, showing does not have, you can have, the truth is, you can have a pain, you give it morphine, now you see it shows, but you don't
No,
feel the pain.
I don't want,
So,
I don't want pain medication. I refuse to take it. So I want to tell
I
my
know,
brain
then you
it
need to have
doesn't work.
control over your brain.
I want to have control of it. Tell my
If
brain
I
that-
was a rich man. Yeah, ba, 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 yeah, ba, 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 ba.
Some forms of meditation
Meditation.
help.
Uh,
Meditation helps you control your brain. You can envision the pain and you can make the pain smaller. You can condense the pain
So like
through the power of your brain.
You say, thank you very much, Elliot. I appreciate it. But like it's a man who came up with that answer, because they say the men cannot handle pain. They can handle pain more than men handle pain, right? If men had children, we would only have one child, and that's it in the whole world. So Baruch Hashem, women have a deeper understanding to handle pain, to handle the chachma. That's why women have a deeper understanding. They take chachma, they have the capability of deciphering Chachma. Chachma really is the man. Bina is the woman. So, but Chachma, man, nobody has Chachma. Even the Chachma is symbolic of the man, but he doesn't have Chachma. He needs to have a woman. That's why Matzah Isha, Matzah Type. You found a woman. You found goodness. So even though you're Chachma, even the man is Chachma, but without his wife, he has the Chachma has no value.
See, that's what.
Chachma has no value, right? I agree with you, Adam. I agree with you. I agree. So Chachma, because Chachma is out there, so Chachma is unattainable. So even though it's unattainable, and that's why a man goes through life struggling to attain Chachma. If he had a good relationship with his wife, he would be able to have a little bit of value from his Chachma, which he's trying to search for his whole life.
And less pain.
So that's why it says Matzah Isha. When you find it's like a Metzia, right? Finding your wife is like a Metzia, is like a find. Right? A Metzia is like a find. That's like a treasure, right? Something that you maybe you don't even deserve such a wife. Maybe you don't even deserve such a concept in your life, because you're the searching soul. You're the searching soul, and need to acquire that search. That's what it's interesting. You come to learn. Over here, Baruch Hashem, we have a mix between men and women, but usually it's more women than men that come and learn.
Really?
Yeah, because the men are still searching. They don't think they can find it. They don't think the learning is going to help them for whatever reason, because they're never satisfied. They're always in the search, right? Man is always in the search. Yeah, I see with a lot of couples. They say, "Oh, maybe my husband will be happy if they have one child," and then they say he's still not happy. Maybe 2 children, maybe 3 children, maybe 5. He's still not happy, right? He's still in the search. He's still going through a midlife crisis, right? The woman finds her joy in the first child. She finds her joy in the second. She finds her joy whatever she gives her.
Yeah.
But the man is always in the search. He's never ever can't find his feet for some reason. He can't find his place in life. Can't find his place. And Chassidus says because he symbolizes Chachma. So you might think it's a good thing. Wow, wisdom. He's the wisdom guy, but it's not always good. It's not always good.
My wife tells me, stop being logical.
I say other things.
I wish I was logical, but when I say men and women, I don't per se. Chassidus does not only per se means that actually physically men and women. We both have both of these concepts in ourselves.
Both have male and female souls.
Right. We both have these concepts of Chachma and Bina, male and female parts of us, which one is searching and one is understanding. So that's why everything has to come into understanding. You have to bring something into understanding, and that's the concept of Isyashvus. You have to bring something into a normal home situation, right? Your wisdom has to come down into some aspect of a normality, okay? Some development from all this fantasies and all these wishings and hopes and desires, and which that's the chachma, the wishing, the hopes, the desires, right? The Eibishter also wanted. He wanted dira b'tachtonim. He had all his hopes, greatness. He built this whole world, this whole his imagination is unbelievable, right? His imagination is unbelievable. Who can have a greater imagination than God? Who can have a greater chachma than the Eibishter in all these worlds? And what does he want? He wants to have a dira. He wants to have a home. Hey, the Kabbalah says the Eibishter created his whole imagination, but what does he want? He wants a dira b'tachtonim. He wants to be able to dwell in this home. And he waits for a simple person like me and you to create this data. What do you mean David has the imagination? Why couldn't he build the house himself? He has this imagination. Why couldn't he build it? So he said, David says, right, but I had this imagination, this whole imagination, but I can't dwell in a physical world without the human being creating this physical reality for us. And that's what I need. That's all I need. So all this whole imagination is nothing in comparison to this action, this bringing down it into a syashvus, bringing it down into a building, into a home, into a physical reality.
A relationship.
Yes, Jenny, what do you have to say? You have your hand over there.
Yes, thank you. So I guess I need a little clarification, if you wouldn't mind. I get a little confused with the different terms. Like, for example, in, I don't know whether it's Torah, not Torah, whatever, is like intuition. Like, a lot of, I think intuition, I find it extremely important to connect with what my intuitive thoughts or feelings are. But whenever I hear people talk about intellect, it always seems like I don't think I understand clearly what that means. Like, I'm very analytical, for example, and that is just a disaster if I try to apply that to certain situations. If I'm intuitive and connecting with sort of my inner wisdom first, and then I apply my intellect to sort of do something with it, that seems to work better. But I don't understand how that translates into the concepts that you're saying here about intellect and emotion.
Right.
Am I clear?
What I want to say, maybe, and I agree with you, if I understood you, what I want to say is that if the emotions, if you look at intellect and emotions, if the emotions are the home for the intellect, and we need to have the intellect needs an emotion, needs to have a home. So you're right. We can fly in the intellectual world, which we love in a way because it's not reality. It maybe sometimes gets us out of reality, the intellect, and it gives us this capability to think that we're greater than we are, or we're smarter than we are, or we have all these capabilities which have no home to come to. Which that's why there needs to be mind over matter. There needs to be that the intellect ultimately comes into a home, comes a house. And that's why I said before, matzah isha matzah taiv, that a home, we call a wife, the Gemara calls it a bias. My house, I call my wife, the sages say, I call my wife my house. Because I have all this great intellect, I have all these great capabilities. But without my wife, I don't have a home. So I don't have the home to come to. I don't have the home to build with all this intellect. And that's why you're going to see the Alter Rebbe is going to say that intellect without emotions is a fantasy. It's just a vain fantasy. And that's why, again, so that's the situation. We need to bring our intellect down into Bina and understanding. It becomes my das, it becomes my knowledge, which creates my home of Chachma, Chesed, and Gevura. It needs to come down into a house.
So that still leaves me a little confused. I mean, I don't have a home. I mean, I don't have a husband. I'm no one's wife. Like, how do it almost makes it sound like an individual person cannot do this, or we're talking about a man doing it. I don't know.
No, everybody can do it. Everybody can do it.
Could you give an example? Do you mind giving an example about how this works when it's working properly? What does that picture look like? Because I don't really get what you're saying, so therefore I can't really apply it.
Another example. It's relationship between Torah and mitzvahs.
Okay.
Torah is the knowledge, the mitzvahs is the home. It's the home for the knowledge. If you separate Torah from mitzvahs, then you have nothing, because you have a bunch of knowledge that has no home, doesn't have the vessel, doesn't have the home to come into. And the Torah needs the mitzvahs like the mitzvahs need the Torah. They need it both. If the home doesn't have the Torah, if the mitzvah doesn't have a Torah, it's missing a great important component, because if it has no wisdom, there's no purpose to this home. There's no purpose. There's no focus in this mitzvah. There's no purpose in the mitzvah. There's no analogy in the mitzvah. There's no comprehension in the mitzvah. The home, that's where the two things need to come together. Has nothing. I just give you an example of ish v'isha, but you don't have to have those two components. We are all the ish and the isha. We have two aspects in our life, two concepts in our life: our intellect and our emotions. The emotions need the intellect, and the intellect needs the emotions. We cannot have intellect without emotions. Has no home either. Emotions that are guided without an intellect is a dangerous situation too. So we need to have the chibur, the unity of the knowledge and the emotions. We need to bring them together. Just like you need to bring together chachma and bina. We need to bring together wisdom and understanding. That's what the verse says. Without wisdom, there's no understanding. Without understanding, there's no wisdom. That's a picky of us. So the wisdom needs a home. That's understanding. Understanding needs to be the home for the wisdom. And they both need to know their purpose. The wisdom should not become understanding. I mean, the wisdom should know its purpose is to become understanding. And the understanding should respect the wisdom. And they work together. So this aspect, just like in a relation, again, you come back to husband and wife. Every person has their job, and hopefully together they make a beautiful home. So too within ourselves, wisdom and our understanding should work together, and to create a beautiful home existence in myself, that I should be a normal, developed, successful individual. I should be a normal, successful individual. My wisdom should come together with my understanding, and I should be emotionally, passionately involved in everything I do, because everything is united, everything realizes that they have their purpose. So my wisdom is not going to make my emotions that they're nothing, and my emotions are not going to let it go without its wisdom, and we're going to work in unison. And we're going to have a balanced, happy life. Hopefully. So therefore, even if I have understanding, I'm always gonna go back to my wisdom to acquire more understanding. Never gonna be happy with the understanding that I have today, because I'm always gonna go back to my wisdom and say, there must be a deeper understanding. There must be more understanding. There must be better. So what I learned yesterday is not going to be enough for today. Because today I'm going to start again to go back to my wisdom and say, let's go deeper. Let's understand it. Let's go deeper, and therefore I'll have a deeper understanding. In concept, what Chassidus says, it says in the ethics of im ein yira ein chachma, im ein chachma ein yira. Everything goes also in chesed and gevura. There needs to be constant more. There cannot just be the yin and the yang. There got to be the concept of going out and coming back within. Going out and coming back within. Never be happy in a spiritual life, right? In your life of knowledge, never be happy. Never be satisfied, right? A person should always want to go more, to strive for higher, right? It says when it comes to physicality, Ezu Asher Sameach Bechelke. When it comes to physicality, who is wealthy, who's happy with what he has. But a person should never be happy with what he has in wisdom. He should always want more. Should always strive to become more the capacity of wisdom. And therefore have more capacity of understanding. And that's why learning never ends. Never ends. Never ends. That's it. You never graduate wisdom. Because the wisdom, ultimate wisdom, our wisdom comes from God's wisdom. And God is unlimited, unending. and therefore our wisdom should be unending, never ending. Truth is, the more we become unending in our wisdom, the more we become unending in our emotions. Our chesed becomes bigger, and our gevura, our compassion becomes greater and greater and greater and greater, and our respect becomes deeper. So what we had respect as children, as adults, we have a deeper concept of respect, etc., etc. It's never ending. That's why our service to ourselves is never ending. Our service to God is never ending. Our service to ourselves are never ending. Our service to each other is never ending. You can think about it. When I have even a relationship, we go back to relationships. I hate to say them because some people say I don't have a relationship. So, but that's the easiest thing to do. You get married, and how do you have a never-ending relationship? Never ending. Isn't there like an end? Isn't there an end to this situation? What? No, we don't say that in Torah, right? Even death, it continues. How do you have? You have a relationship with somebody. Human has to be, 5 year. Is there a warranty to this situation? Is there right? Like you have a lease. After 5 years, you give another lease. Right? Who wants to have a car forever? You're not driving with a 1950 car, a 1960. You upgrade it, right? Abisha says, I want you to have a relationship with this person forever, right? How is that possible? How is that possible? In your mind, it's not possible. It's almost impossible. How do you do that? How do you do that? So that's why the Torah says you have to have an intellectual relationship. You must come to an intellectual relationship in life. You got to come to the where you're both connected b'seichel in your intellect, and if you're connected in your chachma, it never gets stale. It will not get stale. If you have an intellectual relationship, it will not get stale. You have a physical relationship, it has to come stale. It has to come stale, and there's got to be something better out there. That'd be another model. A new model. That's the way humans are. How do you expect humans to be different? Suddenly we're going to become different. Abisha says, no, I created the world with wisdom and every kind of and the truth is, some people get sick and tired of themselves. Themselves? Yeah. Sick and tired of themselves. What am I doing in this world? Well, people don't do that. Why do you think we have suicide in the world? I have no value. No value. What am I doing in this world? No value. What is my value to the world? I'm sick and tired. I'm doing the same thing over and over and over. I don't see any gain. I don't see any gain. Where's the gain of my existence? I'm actually a burden. It's a painful existence. So when people come to that, so how does one realize that there is a gain? Today is a gain. It's not just another day. Today is a gain. It's not a sluggish day. It's not let's go to sleep. There has to be some gain in it. What's the gain? If I'm not going to look with chachma, if I'm not going to go to my own wisdom, I might not see the gain of today. What am I gaining here today? What am I gaining here today that I didn't accomplish yesterday? Maybe yesterday was a better day. It's a bad day. That's what some of us say, let's go to sleep. That's where we run away from our existence. Let's go to sleep. Let's get into the bed. That's it, finished. It's hard for them to get out of bed. Because why should they get out of bed? A Yid connects to his wisdom. Every day is new. Every minute is new. Forget about every day. Every minute is by him is a new reality. It's a whole new beginning. I'm not saying it's an easy thing to do. Why is it not easy to go to our Chachma? Siddur says because we're too emotional. We're too emotional. Very, very, I don't know to say this, Rashi, because the women are going to get angry again. But, you know, I like some controversy. But Moshe Rabbeinu says to the Eibishter, last week's Parsha, he says, you know, if I can't handle this anymore, you know, I quit. Kill me. That's a good, it's a pretty harsh expression. The Eibishter says, you're too emotional.
Yeah.
Like a woman. You're too emotional. Acting like a woman. Too emotional. That's Rashi. Don't throw the eggs at me, okay? You're too emotional.
You read it in the Chayenu?
Too much drama. I read it in the Chumash. It's Rashi Chumash. So Rashi says, the Eibishter says to Moshe Rabbeinu, stop. What is the drama? Relax. Drama. What are you throwing at me? Drama. Like you're Moshe Rabbeinu. You're the man of wisdom. You're getting emotional on me. You're getting emotional. So it's not a bad thing. It's in essence the woman, Bina, understanding. If a woman says, I want to get emotional. I want to get you're too intellectual. Let's get emotional. So David says, no. You're balanced. You're becoming too emotional. You're losing your chabad. You're losing your intellect. You're losing your brains.
What was that word?
You're losing your chabad. You're becoming a woman on me. And that's relax. You got to think about it a second. Take a deep breath. And take a deep breath. And think about it a second. Relax.
Take a deep breath and think about it.
Rabbi Bucket, is Rashi saying that like a woman, or are you saying that?
Rashi said that. I didn't. Don't thank
Rashi uses the language, you're becoming emotional like a woman.
Yeah.
So then I don't totally get what you're talking about. I don't understand because I don't know how to apply it. It's like you're emotional like a woman. I don't know. It makes it always sound like emotions are bad, but they're not.
No, they're not.
So I don't know how to decipher what you're saying and use it in any practical way.
Jenny, I know I shouldn't have said it.
Yes.
You're gonna have nightmares now.
Can I give a point of
No,
view?
I want to hear what Rabbi about this particular thing. It's very confusing.
I'm going to
It's like, are
clarify.
they good or are they bad?
Let me answer.
I'm going to clarify.
Elliot, let me answer it, then you'll clarify. It's very simple. The Eibishter created intellect and emotions, and both are important. But you need to, when you get too emotional, you got to sit down a second and say, take a deep breath and think about it before you're going to express yourself. And that's what God says to Moshe Rabbeinu. I hear your frustration. You're very frustrated. You say, kill me. So that's pretty frustrating. But sit down, take a deep breath. There has to be another option. There has to be another option. The option is not death. The option is, let's delegate authority. Let's delegate the authority. Bring 70 elders and we'll delegate the authority. That's a much better response than the response, kill me. That's not the response. Simple. That's a simple answer. The Masabi is more spiritual answers to Moshe Rabbeinu, because Moshe Rabbeinu is not the emotional person. He's talking Chabad, he's intellectual. But I'm just talking simple. The Rashi talks to a 5-year-old child. So he talks to us simple people. So us simple people means God says to me, God's not angry. He comes to the solution. Doesn't say God gets angry. God says to Moshe Rabbeinu, you sound emotional to me. Relax. We're going to come with a solution. The solution is delegation. We're going to delegate, help you out. It's not hard for one person to take care of an entire nation. Let's think about it. Let's come up with an eitzah. A Yid come up with an eitzah. A Jew shouldn't come with frustration. Should come with an eitzah. Come with an idea. Don't come with frustration. Come with an idea. Challenge is an opportunity. Every challenge is an opportunity. Every door that closes means there's another door that's open. There has to be a seichel in behind everything.
I asked for getting problems.
To me, it's not such a big dilemma. I don't understand why it's a big question. That the concept that a woman is more emotional than a man, Baruch Hashem.
It's true.
Baruch Hashem, it's not the end of the world. Thank God. That's why we marry women, so that they bring out our emotions.
As a woman, very powerful if we use it for the passive.
Yes.
Yeah.
I
They
don't
can be
use it as
very
negative.
That's what God says to Moshe Rabbeinu. Get emotional, but use it outright. That's it. If you just think for a second, you'll use it outright.
Yeah.
That's it.
So there
Yes.
is a significant difference from emotion and truth. When we all have emotions. We get angry, we get frustrated, and then we rationalize why we feel that way. But the truth is, you can have an emotion that is not from a true place. And as a result, you have to decide whether you have emotion or whether you let your emotion have you. And your emotion can manifest itself as the way you act.
I'm gonna use that one. That's very good. I like it. Very good. Yishkoyach. Very good. Very good. But you'll learn Chassidus, and you're going to also learn that without emotions, your intellect has no value.
Can I say?
Without emotions, your intellect has no value. And that's why you actually learn to daven. The aspect of emotions and intellect is like davening and Torah. You learn how to daven. And that's the most important part of life, is how to daven, how to pray. How to pray. How do you daven? Because without davening, your learning has no value. You need to pray. You need to do Avodah. Torah, Avodah, Gemilas Chasadim, the three pillars of life. Torah, which is intellect, which is intellectual concept. Avodah, which is service of the heart, which is prayer, and the acts of kindness, the action. Torah, Avodah, you need these three pillars. Without these three pillars, you don't know, you're missing an important leg in you have a chair that has three legs. You take away one leg, it's gonna fall. It's not gonna last on one leg. On two legs.
Service of the heart is emotion.
Yes, service of the heart is emotion. Avodah Shabbat.
What
Yeah.
Nelly just said,
Yes,
what the Rebbe says,
Correct.
the head should
correct. Mayach shalat alala.
basically said that.
Right.
That's the point of the Tanya.
That's the whole point of the Tanya,
The
yeah.
point of the Tanya is that.
The point of the Tanya is how to bring together the mind and the heart, which is the struggle. It's a struggle within yourself. It's a struggle in every relationship. It's a struggle between each other. It's a struggle between us and God. Because in the relationship with us and God, who are we? We're the woman. In the Torah, God is the man, the masculine. We are the women, and we're emotional. We're emotional. God says, relax. We say we have no time. We need it now. We need it now. God says, okay, I'll give it to you in a second. A second by God is infinite. So he has time. We are more emotional. We are the Isha. The Eibishter wants to have the chibur of these two things. The unity of these two, the unity, the coming together of these two concepts in life. That's why the Eibishter wanted the Isha should get married, the two opposites. The Eibishter wanted two human beings to have a relationship, Avas Yisrael. The Eibishter wanted the chibur of Gashmias and Ruchnias. the unity of two opposites, spirituality and physicality. God wanted the unity between him and us. These are all this concept, to be able to bring two concepts together, two opposites together. Now, Chassidus explains that you have the intellect is your mind, your head, the emotions is your heart, right? You have and the connection is your throat, your neck. Right? So that's the Meitzar Hagoren. The Meitzar
I hate my.
is the constriction of the neck.
Oh, we're a stiff-necked people.
They're stiff-necked people. Very good. The constriction of the neck, that's Mitzrayim. The whole Egypt is in your neck.
Whole Egypt.
The whole Egypt is in your neck. You're a stiff neck. You have a problem with your neck. What does it mean that you have a problem with your neck? You have a problem to bring together your intellect and your emotion. Everybody wants to be perfect. Everybody wants to be good. Everybody wants to do good. We all have great aspirations of godliness and spirituality and goodness in this world. But when it comes to the heart, it's a very far away. It's like 1,000 miles. The journey from the mind to the heart is 1,000,000 miles, seemingly 1,000,000 miles.
I like the
And no, it should not take a lifetime. It should take a second. We need to be able to take a second that the mind thinks something and the heart does it, and the hands accomplish it, and to bring it out, this whole concept together. So how does God do that? It all happens under the chuppah. That's the marriage. It all happens under the chuppah. It all happened on Mount Sinai, the chuppah. It all happened under the chuppah,
So what takes
under this
1,000
canopy.
miles? What takes 1,000 miles?
It doesn't take 1,000. It feels like it takes 1,000 miles, but it's not. It's right there.
Oh,
Your heart is right there. You shall serve the Eibishter with all your heart. It's right there. Kikarev, that's why the Alter Rebbe says, the whole base in Tanya is, Kikarev elecha hadava ma'oid beficha o b'vavcha l'saisai. It's not far away from you. It's very, very close. Your mind and your heart and your action is right there. It's not far, it's not a distance. You don't have to travel very far, it's right there.
I have a quick question
Yes.
about the marriage thing.
Right.
Who's the Sabbath bride that we?
Wow. Our soul.
It's the wife of
It's
Hashem.
the soul. So the body is the masculine and the soul is the feminine. It's just another, the body, the soul. So, right.
Oh.
Is the godliness within ourselves. That's the Shabbos. Yeah, I'm ksher, the stiffness of the neck, the ego,
The pride.
it's the small, you think it would be big, it's very small. In comparison to the head, in comparison to the heart, it's small. But it's extremely, that's why it says your ego is a shminitz. It's like yeast, a little bit of yeast. It creates a big bluff. It's all bluff. It's all nothing. So we all need to go back to our seichel. We all need to go back to our intellect. Never to go away from our intellect. That's why Baruch Hashem, the Eibishter's wisdom is unlimited. Imagine if God's wisdom would be limited, and our wisdom would surely be limited, much more limited. God's wisdom is unlimited. That's why our wisdom is also in comparison to our body is unlimited. And that's why we can continue the journey. Baruch Hashem, we should never feel that our journey has come to an end. We should never feel that our day has no purpose. Because the Eibishter gave us all seichel, all chachma, which even though emotionally might be drained, But our intellect, our chachma is unlimited. We always can connect our wisdom to go higher and greater. We'll continue. We haven't completed, everybody. It's already 11:10, 11:05. I'm past my schedule. Have a wonderful, beautiful day, everybody. Never stop learning.
Amen.
Never stop asking. Never stop struggling with this. Keep on learning, my friends. Have a beautiful and wonderful day.
Yes,